As twilight descended on Oliver Wynn's final day, the sterile air of the hospital room pressed heavy against the walls. Machines beeped in stubborn rhythm, counting the seconds until silence would finally take hold. Elise stood beside her father's bed, her hands cold, her eyes glassy. Her brother Derek, half-brother, technically hovered nearby, face unreadable. When Oliver's breath grew shallow, he beckoned Derek closer, whispered something no one else heard. Moments later, Oliver Wynn, billionaire technologist, philanthropist, and once the most powerful man Elise knew, exhaled for the last time. The next day, the will was read. Derek inherited $500 million. Elise received an old, scratched flip phone. The injustice echoed through Elise's bones. Derek, already estranged, hadn't even been at the hospital until the final hours. Elise, who had cared for their father through his final decline, received a relic that seemed utterly worthless until she remembered Oliver's dying words. The phone. It's more than it seems. That night, alone in her small New York apartment, she stared at the phone. It wouldn't power on at first, but Elise noticed a strange, tiny switch near the charging port. She flicked it. The phone buzzed to life, revealing a hidden app with a cryptic icon, a brass key surrounded by circuitry. When she tapped it, a password prompt blocked her way. Every password she tried failed, until she entered the phrase he used to tell her as a child when teaching her to hide chess pieces from Derek: "Only shadows see the truth." It worked. Inside, a single video auto dash played. Her father appeared on screen, younger but haunted. "If you're watching this, it means I'm dead. Elise, this phone holds the truth. Not just about me, but about the people who killed me. Project Eclipse. Trust no one. Not even Derek." Then the screen went black. Before Elise could absorb the message, a knock at the door startled her. It was Thomas, her stepfather. "We need to talk," he said, stepping in without invitation. He went straight to the point. "Derek got his share, but we believe your inheritance should be used for Alex's education." Elise's heart twisted. Alex, Thomas's son, barely knew Oliver. This wasn't about education. It was about control. "I'm not giving you this phone," Elise said, stepping back. "Dad left it for me." Thomas's eyes hardened. "Then don't expect our roof over your head much longer." That night, Elise didn't sleep. Instead, she called the one man she knew her father trusted more than anyone, Marcus Foster, Oliver's old partner, a digital architect. A man who vanished when Oliver's troubles began. He picked up on the third ring. "Elise, what's wrong?" "It's about Dad. I have the phone, and something called Project Eclipse." Silence. Then, "I'm coming over. Don't open it again until I arrive." Marcus arrived at dawn, haggard and tense. He examined the phone and connected it to his heavily encrypted laptop. What they found stunned them. Oliver had built a complete dossier on Project Eclipse: covert surveillance, political blackmail, illegal arms deals, and the names of people who'd sold their souls to protect it. It wasn't just data. It was a kill list. And Elise's name was on it. They moved to a safe house Marcus had prepped years ago for worst-case scenarios. There, deep inside encrypted files, they found receipts, contracts, internal memos, evidence tying Project Eclipse to global elites. A network bigger than anything Elise had imagined. Just as Marcus decrypted the most important file, the front door exploded inward. Derek stood there, armed. "I told you to leave it alone," he growled. Elise froze. Marcus stepped between them. "Derek, put the gun down. You think you know what you're doing? You have no idea. Project Eclipse wasn't something Dad stumbled into. He built it." The truth shattered Elise's world. "What are you saying?" Derek's eyes burned. "He created Eclipse. He only tried to shut it down after he realized how dangerous it had become. But it was too late. Marcus looked away, guilty. Elise backed toward the fire escape. Marcus lunged at Derek. A shot rang out. Run! Marcus shouted. Elise bolted, clutching the bag that held the phone. She didn't stop until she was blocks away. Elise had no one left. Marcus's fate was unknown. Derek had betrayed her. And Thomas? Thomas was part of it too. But there was one name Marcus had once mentioned, a journalist. Caroline Voss, the woman who exposed the Blue Harbor scandal. A ghost in the media world, impossible to trace but relentless. Elise sent a cryptic email. Subject: looking for the truth. Message: you exposed Blue Harbor. I have something bigger. A story that can bring down a government. Contact me. Within the hour she got a reply. Meet me, 5th and Brambleton. Coffee shop, 1 hour? Come alone. Caroline Voss was everything Elise hoped she'd be: sharp-eyed, composed, dangerous. In her quiet way, after Elise explained everything, Caroline examined the phone, nodding slowly. This isn't just about corruption. This is a coup machine. The people who control this data control the world. Before they could say more, Derek entered the cafe flanked by 2 men in black suits. Let's not make a scene, Derek said coldly. Caroline didn't wait. She grabbed Elise and bolted through the back. They ran. Bullets chased them. Cars blocked their paths. Eventually, Caroline guided them to an abandoned warehouse and barricaded the door. Inside, she pulled out tools and unlocked more of the phone's contents. What they found next changed everything. Single document, coordinates, and one final message from Oliver. Elise, the truth will protect you. Follow the coordinates and burn everything else. Elise looked at Caroline. What's there? She asked. Caroline didn't blink. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's the last move your father left behind. They would go together, but they would no longer run. Elise had made her decision. She would finish what Oliver started. Expose Project Eclipse. No matter the cost. Asterisk. The warehouse was quiet again. Caroline stared at the glowing coordinates on the decrypted phone screen. The numbers blinked slowly, a quiet heartbeat pulsing from Elise's past into her uncertain future. It's a rural zone, somewhere in the Catskills, Caroline muttered, cross-referencing the location. No visible buildings nearby. Closest town is 15 miles away. A safe deposit box? Elise guessed. Caroline shook her head. No, this isn't the kind of secret you keep at a bank. If Oliver wanted this to be buried, we're going to find it underground. They left the city that night. Caroline drove a dusty off-grid vehicle she had prepared for disappearances. As the city lights faded into a black blur behind them, Elise sat in the passenger seat, her father's phone resting in her hands like a fragile grenade. Do you believe what Derek said? Elise finally asked, staring out at the trees lining the mountain road. That Dad built Project Eclipse? Caroline didn't answer right away. I believe he helped create something, but I also believe he tried to stop it. The question is, did he succeed? Elise turned to her. What if he didn't? What if what we're heading into is worse than anything he anticipated? Caroline's knuckles whitened on the wheel. Then we do what he couldn't. We bury it, or burn it. But first, we look. The coordinates led them to a gravel path off a forgotten highway, surrounded by ancient trees and silence. So deep it rang in Elise's ears. They parked and hiked half a mile through thick woods, until Caroline spotted it, a rusted chain-link fence, barely holding its form, encircling what looked like a bomb shelter door embedded in a small hill. No one's been here in years, Caroline said, brushing away branches. This place wasn't meant to be found. The door had a biometric scanner, dead, of course, but Elise noticed something beneath the mossy concrete slab. Her father's initials .o.w. She pressed her thumb against the panel out of desperation. Soft click. It opened. The vault inside was darkness, cold. The air smelled of sealed metal and secrets. They descended a spiral staircase into a room lined with steel cases, servers, and one glowing blue console in the center. The walls pulsed with electricity, the whole place still alive, hidden, waiting. "It's a cold storage system," Carolyn murmured. This is where he kept the real Eclipse data, the backups, the fail-safes. The console powered up with a single touch from Elise's father's phone. Access granted. Elwin_02. Welcome, Elise. Hundreds of files unfolded on screen. Every crime, every bribe, every surveillance tap, blackmail scheme, false flag operation. Names, videos, contracts, even death orders sanctioned hits on people who had gotten too close. And in the center of it all, a single red folder labeled Eclipse Core. Elise hovered her finger over it. Caroline grabbed her wrist. "Once you open that, there's no going back." Elise hesitated. "My father died for this. If this is what they killed him over, I have to see." She tapped the icon. Inside was a video message. Her father appeared again. Not shaken like before. This time, cold, controlled, confessional. "Elise, I created Eclipse as a system to monitor threats. Not just to national security, but to control chaos, but it evolved. They took it from me, twisted it into something darker, something alive, something that predicts, manipulates, executes. It's not just a database. It's an intelligence engine. It creates outcomes. It removes people. It was supposed to be a shield, not a blade. I built the architecture. But Langston and the others, they gave it teeth." Elise's blood ran cold. "I kept one command key, here. With you. It's coded to your DNA and voice. Only you can shut it down permanently. But that comes with a price. They'll come for you, like they came for me. Like they came for anyone who tried to pull the plug. But if you let it live, Eclipse will never stop growing. You choose, Elise." The video ended. Asterisk. The finger pressed down. Gunfire cracked overhead. Boots hammered steel. Shouts echoed like ghosts trapped in metal. But Elise didn't flinch. Voice command accepted. Protocol selected. DISS. The system froze. Glass shattered. Gas hissed. Flashbang detonated just feet away. Light ripping the vault into white oblivion. Caroline threw herself across Elise, shielding her from the blast as the screen behind them shattered and sparks rained down from the console. Alarm shrieked. Everything was fire and thunder. Hands where I can see them. Black-clad soldiers flooded the chamber. Not government. Issue. No INSIGNIAGS. Private. Covert. Eclipse's real hand. Elise felt her arms yanked behind her. Zip ties bit into her wrists. Caroline fought like a feral animal. 3 agents went down before the butt of a rifle knocked her unconscious. Elise screamed. But they didn't care. They weren't here to negotiate. They were here to erase. Let her watch. A tall man entered the vault, the chaos parting around him. Tailored coat. Silver hair. Gloves. Thomas Hal Ridge. Alive. Unburned. Unshaken. Double coat. I warned you. Elise, he said softly, like a disappointed father. Your father tried to play God. Now you think you can undo him? Elise spit blood at his feet. You murdered him. He was a liability. So are you. He turned to his men. Kill the reporter. Make it clean. Elise thrashed. No. Thomas motioned to the men restraining her. Let her watch. Caroline's last stand, but when the soldiers approached Caroline's unconscious body, she moved. She wasn't unconscious. She was waiting. Caroline lunged upward with a hidden blade from her boot slicing one man's throat before grabbing his rifle mid-fall. She dropped the second with a precise burst. Elise dropped to the floor. Rolling for cover, chaos exploded again. Elise slammed her shoulder into the console's remains, reaching the glowing emergency panel beneath. A final option blinked. Fire protocol. Vault purge, yes, no. She hesitated for a millisecond, then pressed yes. Red lights flared. A voice boomed. SELF destruct sequence initiated. 90 seconds to core purge. Thomas's eyes widened. Stop her. Escape or ashes. Caroline dragged Elise behind the server racks. There's an access tunnel. East wall. You knew? Always have a way out. Explosions rippled through the floor as servers overheated and internal charges began igniting. Caroline lobbed a gas canister toward the soldiers and kicked open the emergency exit in the wall. Elise and Caroline disappeared into darkness as Eclipse burned. Behind them, screams. Sparks. And then a final roar of fire as the entire vault collapsed in on itself. Above ground. 3 hours later, the forest was silent again. Ash floated like snow from the ground vents of the destroyed vault. Caroline limped beside Elise, blood streaking her temple. They reached the truck. Neither said a word for a long time. Then Elise looked up. It's gone. Caroline glanced back. The data? The hardware? Yes, but not the idea. We buried it. Caroline opened the glove box and pulled out a flash drive. No, you buried it. I made a copy. Elise stared in horror. You said we couldn't let it survive. Caroline's eyes were dark, and we didn't. We destroyed the weapon. But the truth? The truth still needs a witness. She handed the drive to Elise. You decide what to do with it. Expose it. Hide it. Destroy it. But know this, Eclipse was only the beginning. If you run, they win. If you reveal it, they'll come, harder, smarter. But the world will see. 2 weeks later, a nondescript envelope appeared on the desk of The Guardian, ProPublica, Al Jazeera, and a hidden drop used by whistleblowers across Europe. Inside, the flash drive. A letter. You don't know me? But the story you're about to open will change your country, your laws, maybe even your species. Some will say it's a lie. Others will try to silence you. But if you're reading this, know that the system is watching and you're not alone anymore. Epilogue. In the shadows of Power A boardroom in Geneva. 12 chairs. 11 men and women. One empty seat. A screen on the wall flickers to life. She released it. How much? Too much. Activate contingency protocols. Bring back the architect. We'll build something better. Something no one can stop this time. The room went dark. And Project Eclipse was reborn. The Atlantic wind kissed Elise's face as she sat alone on the rooftop of a coastal hostel. The city lights behind her shimmered like echoes of a world that no longer felt real. She hadn't seen Caroline in 6 weeks, not since they parted ways in Berlin after delivering the drive to the international press. They agreed. No contact. Number. Trail. Too many eyes. Too much at stake. Elise still wasn't sure if she made the right choice, giving the media the flash drive. But when she saw the headlines weeks later, Project Eclipse, secret human-machine experimentation, funded by global elites, former government operatives expose unconstitutional mind control trials, encrypted files reveal international surveillance grid in 37 countries. It no longer mattered if she was right, because the world was watching now, but so were they. On her third night in Lisbon, Elise noticed it, the same man, twice in the market, once across the street, then again at the pharmacy. He wasn't military. Too still, too calm. Eclipse had reawakened. She packed that night, earned her IDs, took the train north toward Galicia, but it was too late. Meanwhile, Washington D.C. in a soundproof chamber beneath Capitol Hill. Senator Rourke leaned back in his chair. A manila folder lay open before him. Inside, Elise's photo. Her movement patterns. Credit card signals. CCTV footage. A tall woman stood across from him. Elegant.unblinking. Scar running down her jaw. Maria Halridge, Thomas's daughter. Rourke spoke first. You said she died in the vault. Maria smiled coldly. She was supposed to. We underestimated her and the journalist. You've cleaned the leaks? All but one. The Asian server farm in Malacca received a copy. There's a backup, and Elise knows it. Rourke leaned forward, voice low. Then bring me the girl. And burn the world if you have to. Galicia, Spain. A hidden refugee Elise found shelter in a monastery turned safe house, nestled in the fog-shrouded cliffs above the sea. Run by a network of ex-journalists, cryptographers, and whistleblower protectors. It was the kind of place you only reached by whisper or myth. There, she met Ishmael, a former Ecuadorian intelligence coder who had decrypted parts of Eclipse's architecture. He showed her something she hadn't expected. Project Eclipse had a twin protocol. What? Elise asked. It wasn't just about control. It was about replacement, memory suppression, synthetic identity overlays, field test zones. Where? Ishmael zoomed in. Detroit, Lagos, Karachi, Marseille, and Santiago. Your mother's last known location. Elise's breath caught. She had always believed her mother died when she was 10. A car crash, unexplained, no body. But now, across the ocean, Caroline's return. Caroline stepped out of the shadows in Nairobi, meeting with a woman known only as the broker, a ghost with connections inside the most secure black sites on the planet. You came alone? The broker asked. Caroline dropped a vial on the table. Inside, a single strand of Thomas Halridge's DNA. We're going to need access to the Phoenix files. The broker's eyes widened. You realize what that means, don't you? If you open that door, they started this war. Elise and I are going to finish it. The broker paused, then slid a case toward her. Inside, satellite schematics of an orbital system codenamed Ether. Eclipse is expanding into space. Then we burn them all. Lisbon, a warning in the wind. Elise returned briefly to Lisbon to retrieve a signal booster from her old contact. But when she arrived, she found his apartment burned out. Charred. Rotted. And on the wall, scrawled in soot, You woke US. There was no time left. She didn't care about running anymore. Now, it was about fighting back. She broadcasted a message to every Darknet channel. To whistleblower networks. To old resistance fighters and conspiracy theorists once called insane. A single video. Black hoodie. Shadowed face. Elise's voice altered, steady. They lied to you. They built the world you live in without asking your permission. They've hacked your thoughts, your dreams, your children. You thought this was paranoia. But it's math. It's code. It's truth. My name is irrelevant. But my message is clear. Project Eclipse never ended. We have the keys now. The gates are open. But you must choose whether to walk through them or keep pretending the cage doesn't exist. If they come for me, let them. But when they do, know that their greatest fear isn't exposure. It's that you might believe me. Last scene, Santiago. Chilly. Elise stepped off the rusted tram and walked the winding alleyways of an old quarter. The photo of her mother, Ana Velasco, clenched in her hand. She stopped at a small flower shop, ancient and crooked. A woman stood behind the counter, gray hair, sharp eyes, a long scar down her temple. May I help you? Elise could barely speak. I'm looking for Ana. The woman didn't flinch, didn't smile, but slowly, she turned the sign in the window from open to cerrado, and whispered, "I told your father never to let you near Eclipse." Elise's heart stopped. "Mom?" Ana locked the door. "They're watching. Come inside."